Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This week we are getting into a stack of sources that are, well, both deeply cosmic and surprisingly grounded.
They really are.
We're looking at an intense astrological forecast and a parallel narrative called the StoryScope.
Both from Tarot by High C, and they're covering January 12th through the 18th, 2025.
And I have to say, this is not a week for wishful thinking.
No, not at all. It's a week for serious productive architecture.
Right.
Our mission today is really to break down this powerful 7 days and synthesize why it feels so weighty, but also ultimately so relieving.
Relieving, that's an interesting word for it.
Yeah, because this week it demands an answer to a fundamental question: what actually works?
Okay.
So this is a deep dive into how intention and structure and discipline, they don't restrain us. They actually lead directly to freedom.
I really appreciate that framing. That structure enables freedom. Because the sources show us a week where the universe basically tells us to stop chasing glitter.
Exactly. Start building with concrete.
The foundation we're on is solid, but the invitation is to what? Adjust our intention and experiment with how we build on it.
That's it. And we have to start with the astronomical rarity that anchors this entire week. I mean, this is a moment that won't occur again for at least another 84 years.
4 years.
Yeah. We have Venus, the Sun, Mercury, the Moon, and Mars all traveling together. The source calls it a stellar daisy chain.
A daisy chain. So all of that energy is focused.
All of it. Our focus, our motivation, communication, desire, life force. It's all in one concentrated area of the sky.
So if all that energy is gathering, it suggests the week's events are not trivial. They're pretty high stakes.
Precisely. This cluster is preparing for a kind of farewell celebration. These planets are forming harmonious connections, trines, and sextiles to Saturn in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus.
And both of those are nearing the very end of their signs.
The very last degrees. It really is a send-off.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. When we talk about trines and sextiles, for anyone less familiar, what does that feel like in the real world? Is that conflict or collaboration?
Oh, profound collaboration. A trine is like a flow, a natural talent, an easy path. And a sextile is an opportunity.
Yep.
Two parts working together with very little friction. So the point is, the usually tense themes of structure, which is Saturn, and radical change, which is Uranus, they aren't fighting.
They're cooperating.
They are. The universe is saying, look, the big changes you need to make are surprisingly well supported right now.
That connects right into the theme of accountability then. So if the foundation is cooperating, phase 1, from Sunday the 12th through Tuesday, that must be where all this energy lands.
Yes, this is where desire becomes diagnostic.
Diagnostic, how so?
Well, Venus, the planet of desire and value, is in a very practical sign. So she is just not interested in any fantasy that collapses the moment reality applies pressure.
So desire isn't a flight of fancy anymore.
No, it's a tool. It's a diagnostic tool. We're invited to notice our attachment patterns. Where do we bargain for affection? Where do we cling to comfort so tightly it becomes stagnation?
It's like an internal audit.
It really is. If
Yeah.
you keep choosing the comfortable option that takes you nowhere, Venus is going to make that pattern acutely, maybe painfully visible. You have to diagnose why you're attached to it.
The StoryScope narrative just nails this. It calls this period the week the city told the truth.
I love this part.
Yeah, and we're introduced to this idea of the Municipal Archive of Promises. Every citizen has a file, digital and physical, that records commitments they've made.
And the brilliance of it is that the archive doesn't punish.
Right.
It just reflects.
I
If you
know.
keep your promises, the file thins out. If they're broken, the file just gets heavier. And this week, those files literally start to glow.
Making all that avoidance visible.
All of it.
Imagine stepping outside and the billboard that used to say, "Live your dream," suddenly flashes, "Check the plumbing."
Or the dating apps switching from endless options to be curious but show up.
It's a collective removal of excuses,
And this is all reinforced by the moon. We start the week in the fourth quarter phase.
which is all about completion.
Yes, closure. It's the lunar cycle's natural call to clear out what's not working, finish up projects, and prepare for the enormous new moon cycle that arrives on Sunday.
So the archive is glowing, and the moon is handing you a shovel.
That's a perfect way to put it.
That self-awareness then brings us right into the midweek challenge. Wednesday, Mercury, our thinking, opposes Jupiter, our vision.
Yeah, this is a fantastic energy for big, bold, theoretical thinking. Jupiter's the great magnifier, so we're invited to let our imaginations run wild.
But Mercury, our rational mind, is opposing it. That
Is
sounds
it?
tense. We have to be dreamers and editors at the same time.
That is the challenge. The warning here is about the tendency to exaggerate, to overpromise or overexplain.
Yeah.
When Mercury and Jupiter clash, conversations just sprawl. Our logic gets tangled up with all this raw, exciting emotion. Things seem fascinating in the imagination, but
Completely unworkable in reality.
totally. So the source says the skill is restraint. Not restraint of the idea, but restraint of the delivery.
So a sound decision doesn't require a novel.
Exactly. Refine the point to its essential elements. If you find yourself over-explaining, you have to pause. You risk muddying the rational clarity that Mercury requires.
We see this in the city story on Wednesday. The city council has a proposal for a modest transport upgrade. A good, solid goal.
A Capricorn goal.
Right, and it suddenly balloons into a manifesto for the future of movement itself.
Requiring immediate, unrealistic funding. Typical Jupiter.
And this is where Mara, our character, comes in. She drafts this crucial message, she looks at her glowing file, and she sees the sprawl in her own mind.
And what does she do?
She deletes 3 paragraphs, refines her thought, and sends just 2 clear sentences.
And the glow in her file steadies. That is the lesson. The structure supports the idea, it doesn't kill it.
That structural support then carries right into Thursday. Venus sextile Saturn, and Venus trine Uranus retrograde.
This is one of the most stabilizing and rewarding transits of the week. For relationships, for finances, both. Saturn stabilizes, Venus encourages harmony. We can be caring and practical at the same time. We can choose reliability without killing the spark.
And the Uranus influence adds that needed novelty. But it's retrograde, so we're not looking for chaos.
Correct. We're looking for surprising breakthroughs within existing systems. The more unusual an approach to an old problem, the more rewarding it will be.
So upgraded routine, not demolition.
Yes. Think small risks that refresh what already works.
The narrative examples are so good here. A cafe extends its hours by shortening its menu.
Brilliant. Streamline the process to allow for expansion.
Or the couple who save their conversation by scheduling silence every evening.
They addressed the structure of their interaction to save the relationship itself.
And then there's Idris, the older man. He brings a shoebox of handwritten, broken vows to the archive.
I loved this part. He asks to refile them not as failures, but as experiments.
He's not erasing the past.
No, he's seeking the structure that's Saturn to try again, which is Uranus. He realizes a vow doesn't have to be a rigid iron bar. It can be a framework for repeated, disciplined effort.
That's accountability leading to liberation.
That's it.
So as we move into the weekend, Saturday is built on what the sources call romantic realism.
A beautiful blend. You've got Venus sextile Neptune and the Sun sextile Saturn and trine Uranus.
So Neptune brings the magic.
It brings the magic, the beauty, the inspiration. It makes it easy to see the best in others. But because of Saturn, that inspiration meets structure.
So discipline feels supportive, not punishing.
Right. It's a great day for building firm foundations and blending our, eccentric side with our grounded reality.
And Mara, in the story, takes this energy and rebuilds a bench in the garden. She measures twice, cuts once.
The physical representation is so clear. Her intuition flows because she did the tedious work first, and so the bench holds.
And as Saturday evening comes, we hit a major shift, one that will color the next 3.5 weeks.
Venus enters Aquarius.
And that shifts the emotional tone in a big way.
Oh, yeah. We go from sentimental, personal instincts to something far more observant, honest, and future-focused.
So what does Venus in Aquarius ask us to prioritize?
The source says that for the next few weeks, we may think with our heart and feel with our head.
I like that.
Friendship, intellectual connection, and equality become primary, more important than traditional romance or codependence. The mantra is basically honesty over harmony.
And long-term alignment over short-term comfort.
Exactly. Relationships need breathing room, mental space.
That feels incredibly practical. It aligns with the entire week's theme. We're replacing emotionally driven habits with systems that support freedom.
Less chasing reassurance, more seeking mutual respect.
And that emotional clarity is, essential prep for the capstone of the week. Sunday, January 18th.
The big one.
Sunday is when we walk the talk. Mercury conjuncts Mars action and communication join forces.
And Mercury sextiles Saturn, making that communication forthright and rational. The universe is helping us create something that can withstand time. So projects started now are worthwhile.
But the defining event is the new moon in Capricorn.
This is the ultimate reset. It trades wishful thinking for disciplined, long-term action. The tone is sober, yes, but it's so relieving.
Unrelieving.
Because truth, even a painful truth, always feels lighter than denial. And with that whole stellium of planets in Capricorn, actions taken now have undeniable long-term consequences. This is foundation building time.
The sources bring in a crucial social layer here, too, with the Aquarian themes of equality and innovation, especially because this new moon is forming a challenging relationship with two other bodies.
Crucially, yes. The new moon squares Chiron and Eris. This is where the truth becomes collective and often painful.
Okay, so Chiron is the wounded healer.
Right, pointing to the inconvenient truths we keep covering up. And Eris represents disruptive truth, often linked to themes of injustice and women's rights.
So that sounds like a potential moment of some pretty significant public revelation.
I think so. We're looking at revelations related to infrastructure, financial, social, political, where injustice has been swept under the rug. Secrets, hidden motives, systemic bias, they're all very likely to surface. The square is a friction point that demands immediate repair.
That level of intensity could feel overwhelming.
It could, but the sources offer a vital reassurance.
Hmm.
The wound that's surfacing isn't new.
It's just being exaggerated now.
Exactly. Made visible so we finally see the truth we've been collectively avoiding.
And that visibility is the key to the healing.
The painful reveal is the potential for renewal, for liberation. It's part of the evolution of consciousness. We can't evolve past our darker aspects until we're forced to look at them clearly.
So the Capricorn energy insists we stop reacting emotionally and start building actual structural solutions.
Yes.
Bringing it back to the immediate application then, how did the city in the story apply this reset?
On Sunday, after all the truths were acknowledged, the archive sent out one single collective prompt visible everywhere.
Which was?
Set one intention you can keep.
That's the ultimate act of realistic accountability.
It is. It bypasses all those big, sprawling ideas from earlier in the week and insists on concrete, deliverable action.
And Mara chose 3 small, specific things. Finish the garden, call her mother, and invite Idris to sit on the new bench.
Practical, specific, actionable.
And the city sign settled into these permanent, practical instructions. Check your work, leave space, and finally, build what can stand.
So what does this all mean for us? This week provided structure without punishment. It taught us that imagination isn't flight, it's architecture. It needs a frame to hold up the vision.
And the freedom we're all looking for is supported by the structures we commit to.
Desire works best when it tells the truth. Our lives feel lighter when we trade the heavy weight of denial for sober, achievable truth.
It's a plan,
Yeah.
not a burden.
So if the evolution of consciousness involves becoming aware of and evolving the darker aspects of ourselves and humanity, what hidden truth, when finally made visible in your own life, will lead to your personal liberation? Proceed, review, adjust. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.